in preparation for tomorrow's test, at the end of your packet, there are some practice problems. And in College Board, there are the progress self-tests for the multiple choice practice. So now we're developing what we need to do today to perform at a high level tomorrow. And you've done most of your training already because you've been great at taking notes and great at getting your con done and great at getting your topic questions done and great at asking questions when you don't understand. So all of that I consider that cross training. So Unit 2 exam, all my exams are always the same format. 30-minute, no calculator, followed by a 30-minute calculator. All of my tests have 5 multiple choices for each part and 1 free response of 3 to 4 parts for each part. In this case, the free response questions each have 4 parts, A through D. The test will always have a timer for you so you can keep track of your elapsed time, but it won't ever close on you. All the questions will be always displayed at once. And of course, you hand in the material at the end of the test. Okay, that's that upload thing. Questions about that? You'll see that for every test. Okay, shoot, first typo. Did you say Unit 2 review? Awesome, let's see how many typos I get in here. Oh, there's gonna be lots of them because I copied sheets from the from our pages from the Unit 1. Okay, now it's just gonna bother me. Give me a second. Here we go again. Okay. Entertaining music. As I make all my typo corrections. Blah, 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 blah. Feel free to sing or hum along with anything. Let's see, that's okay, that's okay. That's okay. Oh, okay, and the rest of them are okay. Wow, it was only 2 typos so far. That's cool. Okay, so come on, click. There we go. All right, back to this. Okay, what to focus on? Do practices at the end of the packet. Do the multiple choice in the College Board account. Review your previous quizzes. If you haven't done the retakes, and you can still do the retake quizzes just for extra practice. Redo topic questions and those optional circuits. Maybe there's some extra practice problems in there. All that's open to you and available. Derivative notation. Just be reminded that those notations mean find the derivative, right? You know that the derivative is defined as so whenever you see that limit notation on a test now, it's just really asking you to find the derivative. So it's up to you to find the function, right? And this notation in PowerPoint is this version, right? X minus A. So our functions are located right here. So that's where you go to find the function. You get the function, you use your derivative rule to differentiate it. Don't forget you have a math 8 key. Okay, this is where they start giving you really wacky functions that you have no chance in differentiating using the rules, but they give you a calculator, so you just do a math 8. And if that really wacky function has a trig portion to it, then you need to be in what mode? Radian mode. Okay? Unless you're in physics or AP physics, you're probably always in radian mode. What to bring? Handheld calculator, right? No, because you're no iPad calculator. Trig flipbook will come in handy. You've got the unit circle on there and all that good stuff. And I'm not sure why I have this here. Whoops. Okay, whoops. There we go. Okay, so kind of a lowdown on the free response questions. So the note calculator is going to contain the average rate of change, an approximating the derivative, writing the equation of a tangent line. Here we go. Right, it has to be on every test. If it's not on the free response, it's on the multiple choice. Sometimes it's in both. Calculating derivative using properties and rules. So in other words, you know, what you ask to find 5x minus 2 symbolic. You might have a table on the graph. So it's going to have some sort of rules there. Maybe you have a product. You have it's f(x) times g. And then the calculator, another approximating the derivative, and a whole bunch of using properties. So a whole bunch of symbolically manipulated derivative, whole bunch of things like that. Okay, any questions there? All right. Same old stuff. I don't think anybody had any problems with documenting the free response questions in Blackboard, so that's the same old stuff there. So I was taking the screenshot and uploading it. There's my third typo. Yay. Homework after the exam for you for Monday. Yeah, unit 3, come on. There we go. Typo number 3. Unit 3, day 1. There we go. Okay. Oh, I got it on that sheet. All right, so a couple of comments because we're really kind of getting into the whole calculator, using the calculator to find your value for the derivative. So the calculator log questions, this is what I was talking about. Really wacky functions, right? X times the sign of this radical. You can't differentiate that using the rules you have. I would argue that in the next couple of units, after we finish them, you might be able to. I still wouldn't waste my time. I do a math 8, stick your calculator in radian mode, hit that math 8. They're going to tell you to evaluate it at some value of X. And then make sure, this is important, make sure that any answer you give has at least 3 places to the right of the decimal as an answer. You can give more. Like if you look at your calculator screen and you want to write down every digit on your calculator screen as the answer, you go right ahead and do that. That's okay. As long as you're correct, that's fine. But it has to be at least 3. The only exception is if the answer contains fewer than 3. Like if the answer is 2.75, you don't have to write 2.750. That makes sense? If you don't answer the 3 decimal places, you actually dock the point. Okay. Yeah. So the exception is that some calculator questions they ask you to give numeric answers for every part. They won't dock you, like if you answered every part for only 2 decimal places, they wouldn't dock you a point on each part. They would only dock you a point overall for the whole question. So you can't lose more than a point for a decimal error, a decimal place error, but you can lose a point. You want all the points you can get, especially the easy ones. Okay, no calculator. So this is more, the name of the game for the no calculator free response questions, right? We can differentiate this by hand with the derivative rule, the power rule. If it was a trig function, we could do that by hand. G of t, if that's tabular or graphical, we can do that by hand. You do your derivative rules. Reminder that answer forms do not need to be final numeric answers. They can be in numeric form and not solved out. So take advantage of that for a time saver. Second reminder, do notes for Monday. Exam tips for, okay, so here's an example for a calculator question. We've got f of x and g of x and h of x. We have 3 functions here. Okay, f of x is a graph, g of x is something I don't want to differentiate, and h of x is doable. I could differentiate that by hand, but I don't know why I would, because I get to use calculator. So here's a question: define k as the product of f of x times g of x. So it's a product of the graph and this radical. Find k at 0. Okay. Calculator. We don't know how to find g prime of x. We're going to use our math 8. So I'm just going to math 8 this at 0. I mentioned that a little earlier. Still math 8 this. We can actually differentiate that. Actually, we do that in con. But why? You know, use your calculator. So f prime of x. So find the value of x such that f prime of x equals h prime of x. Remember, I say derivative, you think slope. So f prime of x between -1 and 2. If you notice, -1 and 2 is just a straight line, right? So this becomes a slope question. I go up how many? Looks like up 6 and right 3. That's a slope of 2. So now I know that this kind of question boils down to 2 equals the derivative of this. This is where you're going to have to differentiate that by hand, right? Let me just see what the next thing here. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So this is, you can really differentiate that by hand. But then you can find the answer graphically. So let me kind of expand upon that. F prime of x we know was what we said 2. And h prime, who can differentiate that for me? Differentiate h of x. Using your rules. I agree, right? E to the x is derivative is e to the x. Right. So I have f prime of x equals b prime of x. Right? We have equal derivatives. Then what we do is in our graphing calculator, put that in y1. y1 equals 2. Put this in y2. y2 equals 2. y2 equals, excuse me, that stuff. And go ahead and calculate the intersection. I'm trying to find my graphing calculator on my computer. There it is. Oh, missed it. Dang it. Okay. So this is really what they expect you to do. Graphing or solving that numerically is darn near impossible. They really expect you to grab your graphing calculator. It's going to show up here in a second. Hopefully. I'm just wondering if it's on one of my other screens. Nope, it's not one of my other screens. Yes, it's there. Not there. Okay, hold on. Let me see if you can see. But got 4 screens on a desktop here. Nope, not really. It's gotta be this spot. Let me just minimize this, see if it's hiding behind it. It's not. Oh, there it is. Just popped up on my home screen here. Okay. There we go. So here's my graphing calculator. Make that just a little bit larger. Okay. So if I go into y equals, clear out my parabola there. Let's clear that out. And if I just put in 2, that's going to give me a horizontal line. And then if I put in 5e to the x, 5E, where's E? It's the divide sign, right? Yeah, it's kind of an angle. 5E to the X. Where the P is over here next to the alpha. Kind of jumping around on me. There we go. And then minus 9 cosine X minus 9 cosine X. And I'm pretty certain I'm in radian mode. Yep, I am. Third one down. And I graphed that. There's y equals 2. And there's the other thing. And I don't like that window. So I'm going to zoom standard. More often than not, when the College Board expects you to graph things, it's going to give you the answer in the standard window. There we go. There it is. Now, if you remember the question said, let me just switch this over a little bit so I can get the graph back after I look at my questions. The question said, in this domain, -1 to 2. So I know we crossed several times, but from -1 to 2, we only intersect right here. Does that make sense? So that's the intersection they want is the answer. So we can go into the calc feature. It's don't trace it. You'll never get close enough. But we're going to use the trace button. So we're going to hit the second button, and that's going to activate the calc screen. And we're going to do an intersect. So second calc 5. I'm recording this too, so you can go back in Blackboard and follow these directions. Second calc 5, and then it asks you, what is your first curve? And I see that it's on blue, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to hit enter. And then it asks you another question. I always like to ask questions on here. What is your second curve? And now it jumps down to the red curve, and I'm okay with that because I want to find where those two intersect. So I'm going to hit enter. And then it asks us, what is your guess? And I'm going to use my arrow key. I don't have to, but I'm going to use my arrow key to get closer to the intersection I'm interested in. All that does is reduce the processing time to find the intersection. So I do that so that my calculator doesn't have to do so much processing. And I hit enter, and it's going to pop up right away. There's my intersection. Okay, so when are they equal? They are equal when no 0.622. Right? Yeah, 0.6 would not be so 0.622 is acceptable. 0.6221 is acceptable. 0.62208. Even 0.6220, it's truncated. It's not really rounded, but that's okay. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's really using your calculator to the fullest. So that's those graphical solutions make the solutions really pop up quicker. Okay, so I'm flashing some screens at you now just to get them into the video. But these are the solutions to your practice for response questions. Okay, but now that they're in the video, you know that you can just go to the end of the video and look at those shots to check your food response practice answers.